Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are featuring a marathon watch on here. Now this is the very first time I have got to handle one of these. They really are new to me. Obviously I've heard of the brand. In fact, when I started looking up the history, I didn't realise how old they actually are. Prior to being called Marathon, they've actually been out for over 100 years, but since being called Marathon, over 80 years. And they are a true supplier of military watches. And it's quite cool that that's how they kind of started off as such and still supply military, armed forces around the world. So what I like about these is they are proper tool watches. These aren't a flashy bit of jewelry to wear on your wrist and show off to your mates. These are, kind of built for a purpose, and I think that is quite cool. Plus, I had no idea they're based out in Canada. That's quite an interesting one as well. But before I get too far into review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the guys over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth. Tons of stock, super friendly staff, great feedback on their Trustpilot and all that. Well worth popping into. If you're a little bit too far afield, well, I'll leave a link in the description below to their website. I'll also leave a link on the at the bottom of the page now. All I ask is if you do contact them, please mention the channels. It really would help to cement a bond between us. So anyway, this watch here, it is called the Marathon Steel Navigation Auto, or otherwise the SSNAV-D Auto. Catchy. No, it isn't. But anyway, so it's a 41mm watch. The thickness of a watch is 11.5mm. The lug to lug, so this point to that point, is 48mm, and the strap size is 20. Now, the dial. I just love the fact the dial is so stark. It's this black and white. It is very much a kind of, you can tell this is a military timepiece. It's just all, it is what it is. It's a time teller. That's it. No kind of flashy, nice beveled, polish edges and all that. It is just a timepiece. Now, the hour track, the indices around here are printed, and then you have the kind of more military response for 1300 hours, all that inside there. The actual hour markers have been applied, but they are tritium gas tubes. And so what that means is where you have these and on the hands, and I think the Lume Pip is a standard one there, normally you would have Superluminova or something like that, which is a paint which absorbs UV light and slowly gives it out in an luminous way. These are actually tiny bit radioactive, as the symbols would suggest there, and these glow all the time. Don't get me wrong, they have no, it cannot hurt you at all, but they glow. And so you're probably going to get about 12 years or so of these glowing all the time. And that's really good because it means you can be in the dark for a long time and these will still be visible. In fact, it's quite interesting because the hands here, you can see the hand stack. What I mean there is where they're connected onto the cannon pinion and hour wheel there. There is a big gap between the two. It almost looks a bit strange, but I'm guessing this is down to having the gas tubes on the hands there. So you need that bit more space between the hands for them to freely spin round. And it's just kind of cool. Now, this model here, as you can tell by the way it's gliding, is an automatic model. And I'm not quite sure, but they do put the automatic 26 joules on there. You have a date window down here at a 430 position, Swiss made down there. So it's just quite a nice, clean, tidy dial. Now, on top of that, we have a chunky, thick sapphire crystal. So no problems there at all. Then we have the bezel. Now, let's listen to the action. Okay, that sounds like I think that's a 60-click bezel. So the thing with the bezel, though, which kind of struck me as a bit odd, is you have the dive markings here, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4 going around there. So, okay, a little bit strange. But then it gets stranger as it's bi-directional, which is a little bit weird because you'd think with the dive markings on here, this would be a dive bezel. But it's if it's a dive bezel, you normally can only rotate it one way. So a little bit of a strange one. I believe it's the insert I don't know if it's ceramic or not, but it has actually got these milled out sections here for the numbers. You can purchase it ever so easily. It's got a nice kind of coin edge going on there, very easy to purchase and rotate. Overall, it does feel quite nice. The actual case of the watch, steel case, and it's all been bead blasted, but it has been quite finely done. So it, really does look like they've kind of done a good finish underneath that. And what's nice on this as well, you do have drilled lugs. Now, the reason a lot of people kind of prefer them is where you use a spring bar tool like this to normally get in the back and get the spring bars at, you can just simply place that into there and pop them through. Much easier way of doing it. Now, it is a bit of a strange design. So if you notice on this side, it is slimmer than on this side. Now, I can only put this down to the fact they act as crown guards here. So what I mean by that, if you were to knock this side of a watch, you won't hit the crown and potentially damage it. This will act as guards to stop that. It is an unsigned crown and it is screwed down. So as you can see, you've got to pop it out there before you can do anything and then screw it back in. The watch is water resistant to 100 meters, so you shouldn't have any problems there at all. On the case back, it is a solid case back. Lots of writing on the back of there, and underneath there is a Sellita SW200. Now, I put that on the time grapher, and on this one, in the position I had it, it was coming in at 5 seconds plus 5. Perfectly acceptable and well within the specifications of what they state for this watch. So the strap on this, NATO style strap, quite, it's not super flexible, but it isn't uncomfortable either. I do like the fact they've got this big keeper on there. I prefer that as it kind of ties it in nicely. The only quirk I would have, a little niggle, I'd say, I'm surprised it's got black hardware on there, being that it isn't a black watch. A bit of a strange one, that one, but it is what it is. Let me put this on my wrist so you can get an idea how it looks. I must say, though, I'd place that straight on the leather strap. I'm wearing a Larco watch on a Artemel Hydroflex strap. But Bob's gone old school, hasn't he? He's wearing a late 50s, I believe it is, Seamaster. Very, very nice. I'll be doing a review of that soon because that watch will be up for sale. So anyway, my wrist size is 7¼ inches, which works out round about to 18.5 centimeters. Let me just put this on. There we go. And that's it on my wrist. I think it looks great. It's one of these watches, just looks good. I think really quite cool. But as I say, I would probably get rid of the NATO strap and put it on something else myself. As you can see, the tongue sticks down in that keeper there quite nicely. But overall, I do quite like that. I will be reviewing a couple more of these, I think. I'll be even interested in their quartz models they do. So very sort of like 80s style, kind of pilot watches. I think they do look cool. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you to it. But most importantly, stay safe out there. Bye.